Hi everyone and welcome to Inclusivity for All. This is the season of giving, so give as much as you can. We have lots of program highlights for you and can't wait to share them with you. So let's see what we have in store, shall we? Alright, so first up we are going to be having a performance by Leslie and myself called Be Our Guest from Beauty and the Beast.
Ma chérie, mademoiselle, it is with deepest pride and greatest pleasure that we welcome you tonight. And now, we invite you to relax. Let us pull up a chair as Inclusivity for All proudly presents the food show.
Be our guest, put our service to the test. Tie your napkin round your neck, sherry, and we'll provide the rest. Soup de jour, hot hors d'oeuvres, as we only live to serve. Try the great stuff, it's delicious. Don't believe me, ask the dishes. They can sing, they can dance. After all, miss, this is France. And the dinner here is never second best. Come on, unfold your menu, take a glance and then you be our guest. Be our guest, be our guest. Beef ragout, cheese soufflé, pie and pudding on flambe. We'll prepare and serve you flair, a culinary cabaret. You're alone and you're scared, but the banquet's all prepared. No one's gloomy or complaining, where the flatware's entertaining. I tell jokes, we do tricks with my fellow candlesticks, and it's all in perfect taste that you can bet. Come on and lift your glass, you on your own free pass to be our guest. If you're stressed, it's fine dining we suggest. Be our guest, be our guest, be our guest. Be our guest, be our guest, be our guest.
Hi Leslie,
Hello,
so how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. So this is my first time meeting you in person, and the past two shows it was done virtually. So how do you find the past two shows? And it was done during COVID-19. So how did you find COVID-19?
Okay, so I'm gonna answer the first one first. So, okay, so like I feel that I'm a part of a great society. I'm part of a great big society where they talk about like some topics about like a lot of unseen stuff and like all the we usually hear stuff, and I feel that it's very like good, and like it really brings out the importance out of these topics. And for the second one, I feel that it was very hard for everyone, and it was also very hard for me because during phase 1 I have to stay at home. But now I think we're about to go to phase 3, so I feel that it's great that everyone is doing very well, and also everyone just spurring each other on to just hold on, like we can get through.
So this show is about food wastage, and we have some food on the table right now.
Oh.
So yeah, it looks tasty. Would you like to have some?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, I take some as well.
Yeah, sure.
So, how do you spicy? What is your views on food wastage?
So for food wastage, okay, I'm gonna put this down, okay?
Sure.
So for food wastage, I feel that like Singaporeans heard it a lot ever since this problem came up. But then some of the Singaporeans they think that It's not important, but I feel that it's really important because this is what impacts of our future generation, especially for those people who really love food, all the foodies out there and stuff. So I feel that it's a big problem because we don't know where our food resources come from, and all the hard work of our farmers and all our local and international food suppliers, they all the effort goes down in the drain, and it's really hard for them to really accept that the all the sweat, all the blood, and all the tears that they sacrifice, right, is all going down because of some Singaporeans disbelieving about like this very big issue. Oh my god, who are you again?
I am the same person, just with a mask.
Oh, okay.
And I'm wearing the mask because I heard that you like to do mimicry of different people.
Yeah.
So, would you like to do some mimicry for us?
Yeah, sure. First mimicry I'm gonna do is Gordon Ramsay. So you can continue asking questions.
So the first question I'm going to ask you is, what was the taste of the chicken you just ate?
I think it's honey. Because a lot of chefs, especially, they like to put honey inside chickens. I don't know why, but it tastes really good, and the power of the taste, it's really kicking your taste buds. There's like an action, and it's like a fighting war in your tongue. Yeah.
That was a perfect impersonation of Gordon Ramsay.
Yeah, I know, right?
So, still in character?
Yeah. I think I'm still in character, but I think I'm gonna stop now.
Do you have any message you would like to share with the special needs community in Singapore?
So for those people who with special needs, I just want to say that you guys are a gift. Don't be traumatized by what people say about you, because you're really special. Everyone has a gift. Not only other people with disabilities or with disorders have disability, like have talents, like normal people, right? Some of them don't even have talents, but you guys are gifted with talents. So I feel that use this talent to do something good. Use this talent to spread positivity to a lot of people, and especially give yourself a boost up. Think highly of yourself, and also like love yourself. The most important thing is to love yourself, because once you love yourself, you can love others.
That was also really the main reason behind Inclusivity for All, to give a platform for those with special needs to really showcase their talents and show what they were not able to show to the crowd, and also to boost their confidence. So thank you so much for singing the Be Our Guest song with me just now.
Yeah.
And also for this really fun interview.
Yeah, thanks. No problem, man.
I am looking forward to having some fine dining food. As opposed to casual eateries or family-style restaurants, fine dining caters to an upscale clientele and provides the highest quality of food. Up next, I'm going to be heading to Beng Ho Cooks. So, come along. Hi everyone. Right now I am at Beng Ho Cooks, located at 39 Neil Road, and with me I have one of the founders of Beng Ho Cooks, Zen Long. Hey.
Hello.
We are going to be having an interview right now, and I'm going to be asking some questions to Zen Long. Hi Zen Long.
Hello.
So, how have you been?
Been good, busy, very tired, restless.
Alright, so I've got some questions I'd like to ask you and would like to know if you're comfortable with answering those questions.
Just shoot me the questions.
Okay.
I can answer any question.
Okay, so the first question is, how and when did Beng Ho Cooks come about?
Ben Cooks is actually started by Jason. And I came in at a later picture when his business partner withdraw, and then I came in and we decided to work together because we got the same direction. Yeah. That's why from Hawker Store our direction is to open this restaurant, and we in like 2 years we managed to get this place.
I was actually like researching just now and I actually found out about something called Beng Who Cares Foundation. What is actually
Yes.
Beng Who Cares?
It's actually a foundation that we started to help those people that's affected by the pandemic. So during the circuit breaker, they have no jobs, not enough income, and got retrenched by their job. We help them by just supplying them food so they can survive throughout the circuit breaker.
Why the name Beng Who Cooks?
Because Jason grew up with Malays, so his group of friends are all Malays. So they just call him Abeng, because like Chinese, he got tattoo everything, then they just call him Abeng. And then that's how he become like, okay lah, the Abeng like to cook, so Abeng can, Abeng who cooks lah. Yeah.
Which type of specialty cuisine do you guys make?
Say it's more of like a creative cuisine. So Jason is specialized in French technique, but most of the things that he do is all very experimental and creative. So it's like his own creativity. Then he just cook whatever he wants to cook. That's why Beng Who Cooks it's a name that doesn't like put you in a category like Beng's chicken rice, Beng's char kway teow, Beng's nasi biryani. Like Beng Who Cooks, so he can cook anything.
So mixture of all varieties
Yes.
of food.
Yeah.
What was your inspiration and Jason's inspiration to start Beng Who Cooks?
I cannot really speak for Jason, but for myself it's because I always have interest in doing F&B, doing like food and beverage. But I mean, then I got this opportunity to do so I just join in and do lah.
Where do you see Beng Who Cooks going in the future?
Beng Who Cooks will only be here at this 39-year-old. This will only be one brand, but we are planning to have like more brands under this umbrella. So like maybe we will open like other businesses that are food related. They will be under this brand. Yeah.
The first time we met was during the President's Volunteerism and Philanthropist Awards.
Yes.
How did you feel to like get the award from Madam President?
Feel very proud, and I don't know. I feel very proud, but at the same time I feel like I don't really deserve it because there's more people out there that's been doing a lot of good things, doing things to impact people's life, to help people, but they are not recognized. We are just lucky enough to get recognized. So I feel like more people, there are other people out there that definitely deserve this award, but I'm still very grateful.
Have you encountered food wastage and how do you deal with food wastage?
In the past, we encountered a lot, but slowly it cut down because we know how much to order, and then once we sell, means sell. But over here, let's say, we don't have to be afraid of food wastage because we can always, because our dinner we don't have fixed menu, so we can experiment other dishes using the same ingredients. Yeah. So we just rotate lah, like we just recycle the ingredients. So let's say today I got mushrooms, then I can use it to cook some other dish, or we can cook for our staff. So our staff, they have their own staff meals and everything lah.
So like I seen in your Instagram, like there's quite a number of experimental dishes and
Yes,
stuff.
yeah.
So would you like to show us any experimental dish you would like to prepare or anything?
Tonight's experimental dish, I'm not sure what they do lah, but every day we change. So I got pictures, you want to see?
Okay, sure.
is the first time I do dessert in Beirut Foods.
Zengong, would you like to share about your life story?
Yeah, I can share lah. Since young, I was a very playful kid. I always get into trouble. So I mix with the wrong crowd, do a lot of funny things, very mischievous. Then actually I woke up when I got sent to the boys' home because I realized my friends are all not there. And then I realized my family are the ones that's always there for me. So that's when I decided that I'm still very playful. You know, I mean, I'm 28 this year, I'm still very playful. So, but at the same time, I don't get myself into trouble because it's not worth it. But what I can say is there's always chances and opportunities. So it's whether we want to grab it and want to change ourselves, or we can just remain that way and feel very stagnant, which is very scary thing. If not I'm still troublemaker at 28. Headache. So must change a bit. So there's always chance to become successful. It's just how we put ourselves in situation. We make the choices. So if we really want to change for the good and do something, we can always do it. Yeah, it's all about
Perception.
yes, perception, and all about how hungry you are to succeed in life.
Thank you so much for your kind sharing and for
Hi.
your time today.
No problem.
Wow, this swimming pool is very cold. And I really need something hot right now. So I'm going to be going to Beef Zana to have a really nice hot beef soup. Hi everyone, right now I'm at Beef Zena, and together with me I have the founder of Beef Zena, Mr. Arshad. Hi Mr. Arshad, how are you doing?
I'm good today, yeah, very good.
Alright, so I actually have some questions to ask you and would like to know if you're comfortable with answering those questions.
Yeah, sure, no problem.
Alright, so the first questions I'd like to ask is, would you like to share about some of your life experiences with us?
So, my parents left me and my younger brother, so we were left alone, unattended at the age of when I was 15 years old. So that was the last time I saw them actually. And that time we were living in Kalang Baru in a one-room flat. Guys, it was a rented flat. So I used to work in KFC back then as a part-timer, earning about like $600 per month, roughly. So since there was no one to look after us, and because the place I live in, Kalang Baru, is quite like notorious. There's a lot of young kids who get in trouble and stuff like that. So I think the the kind of environment I was in, and since there was no one to like guide us, look after us, soon I got into like trouble with the law because I mixed around with bad company, and then I got into trouble with the law. And then when I was like 18 years old, when I was 17 years old, so I was charged for housebreaking. Right? So it was a mischief kind of thing, so it was like just something stupid I did. So I was sent to Bukit Batu hostel for probation. Like it's a boys' home, but it's not like very strict. It's not as strict as the like prison or what. So it's still a boys' home. When I was there, I was like after like 6 months, I can go outside and work. So there was some like programs for you to like follow and lifestyle. After that, I went to NS. Yeah, so after I finished the program 2 years later, I went to NS. Then after NS, I came out, I was still doing some like odd job here and there, trying to survive. Because when I came out from army, I don't have a place to stay. So I and my brother rented a room to stay. So that it was still like it was still quite bad situation. But things started to change when I joined Zouk in I think about 2008. So that's when like, things started to change a bit. I met my wife. I converted to Islam, and then from there I worked at Zouk for 12 years. I started as a normal part-timer, and I worked my way up slowly to when I quit last month. I already worked my way up to assistant manager. That's when I quit. Then I started my own shop. Yeah.
I read in an article that you have 2 children and one of them has autism. So how is it like raising a child with autism?
My eldest son is Arshad. My eldest son name is Ishwa. My second son name is Yusuf. Right. So my first son is he's my first son. Right. So when we name him Ishwa, it's actually a combination of my name and my wife's name. Ish, which is my name, Ishrad, and then the Ishwa, Shwa is Susanna, right? So it's from that. Yeah, so we were really like looking forward to it because it's my first son. So it was quite like heartbreaking to know that he got autism. So the first year was okay when he was just born, but I think after like the first year we started to see some like he was a bit different with him, because he's very hyperactive. And he used to run around the house, and he used to laugh a lot, and he's very hyper, always laughing for no reason. And then he always like running around, moving around, jumping, very hyper. And that's all. And the thing is that at night he will always cry, holding his stomach. So because he's not verbal, he does not speak. Even until now, 10 years old, he does not speak. So it's very hard for us initially it was very hard for us to understand what's the problem. So it was my wife who actually like suspected that he got autism. And then when he was like 2 years old, we brought him to see the doctor. So from there things escalated, and then we found out that he is autistic, which was I think like any parents, it was very heartbreaking for us, especially that time we were not really very sure about what autism is, right? And so we started to read up more, and then so we work on his diet. We changed after we read up a bit more, did a lot of research, talked to a lot of people. We changed his diet, and I think that's the biggest thing we did. I think it helped a lot because he started to calm down more, and now he still does not speak. But when we like ask him to do things, he will do. He still acknowledge. He's still like trying to figure out. Like he's still listening. If we ask him to like off the light, he will look at us. And then another thing is that last time he don't make eye contact with us. So after we changed his diet, nowadays when we talk to him, he will look at us. Last time he's always like when we talking to him, he's looking away and stuff like that. So there's a lot of improvement in terms of that. But if you ask me like how is it like living with an autism kid, it's not that different. It's just that they need a bit more care, attention. Other than that, they always do the simple things in life. It's not like, because my second son, 8 years old, is still very normal, right? It's still very normal. And when I compare them, sometimes I feel like it's easier to look after my autism kid. Because you ask him to do, he will just do. Even though he's not happy, he will crumple a bit, he will just, but he still do it for you. But my second son, they will ask why, what, how come you can do, I cannot do? You need to answer all these kind of things. So yeah, so it's a different experience. It's not, if you look at it, it's not a bad thing, it's just something different. For some people, different means no good. But yeah, I don't really think, of course, I would still prefer him to be like normal, right? Because in the long run, there are still things that he cannot do for himself. He cannot like look after himself. We need to like change his pampers. He's still wearing pampers. In terms of like personal grooming, bathing, brushing teeth, all this we need to look up. We need to do for him. And like, if, let's say we are not around, that's always the concern. Like, how is he going to look after himself?
How did Beef Zana born?
Okay, Beef Zana was born. There was no like inspiration. It wasn't like something I had planned very long ago. It was just like a moment of like, it was born out of like, how to say, I was frustrated at my workplace. I felt that I wasn't being appreciated. I felt that, how to say, because of the COVID-19 situation, right? A lot of employees, right? A lot of those people like me who are working, earning a living, I feel like because they are in a fix, they cannot leave their job, they cannot change because of the financial situation in Singapore, right? So people are holding on to their job. Okay, and I feel that employers maybe employers are using this because they feel that nobody will leave, right? They feel that I can take my employees for granted because they think that nobody will leave in this situation. Everybody is holding on to their job. Everybody is afraid to do something different, right? So that's the main reason. Okay? And I was frustrated, and I felt this that that I was being not valued, basically.
Taken advantage of.
Yeah, not taken advantage, but taken for granted. And I feel that so that's the main reason why I left, and I want to do something for myself. And it's not easy to. It's true. It's not easy to find a job now. It's not easy to especially the kind of work I was doing. It's not a very difficult job. It's very easy, and I had I had a lot of staff working under me, and my job is mainly to just give instruction, do payroll, planning, right? So it was quite easy job, and I was getting paid quite well. But I don't like being taken for granted, right? So that's why I left, and it's basically to prove that I can survive even on my own. That's the main situation. So it was more because I was a bit frustrated at work. That's why I left. So during that 1 month, I had to give 1 month notice. So basically, that's why I was rushing through everything. Then when I started here the first day, a lot of things were not in place. A lot of things was not set. But I think with God's help, I just came here. I just felt strongly I can do this. So that's how Beef Zana was born.
Why did you choose the name Beef Zana?
So I was selling beef noodles. So I was looking for a name that's quite catchy and nice. Okay, and so I was looking for it. So the name, I was selling beef noodle. That's why there's beef there. The Zana is my wife's name, Soup Zana. So I just combined it together, and I thought it sounded nice, quite catchy, right? So Beef Zana.
Quite catchy.
So that's why I went with that.
What is your future plans for Beef Zana?
So I hopefully, with God willing, I can open more outlets. That's the main plan. The reason why I opened here is because it's not busy. It's quite slow. The reason is because I want to spend the first few months to learn, right? Because I'm also very new in this business. That's why I choose this location, where it's not like it's not like very busy all the way, so that I can take the opportunity to slowly learn, and like troubleshoot if there's any like operation flow or in terms of the food quality, you know, like how I want to do, how much I want to cook, how I want to like store the food, how I want to serve the food, you know, all these small minor things, the operation flow, I can like work it out, I can iron out all these small details before like going on somewhere. That's the main reason why I choose this location. So far it has been good, but if you're asking me like what I plan to do in the future, obviously I plan to open more shops, right? I want to open more outlets, but opening the first shop is all about like, you know, equipment, just getting everything ready, the food, operation flow and stuff like that. But if I want to move on from here and open more shops, I think I need to find the right people to work with. So that's always a very difficult thing to do, you know, to have the right kind of people, manpower and strength. And I think that's even more harder than like opening your first shop. So yeah, if let's say I can find the right people and if I got enough funding, I definitely will look to open more outlets. Yeah. So I don't want to just open for the sake of opening and then I cannot manage, right? So I'm quite realistic, and I want to make sure that, you know, if I open, I can do it well. If not, I rather wait. Yeah.
Have you encountered food wastage, and how do you deal with food wastage when you encounter it?
Yeah, I think for my part, normally, like if let's say for me personally, on my part inside my store, I try to reduce like, you know, wasting food, because I try to like plan. The first week was a bit hard to like gauge how much people are going to buy and stuff like that. I think like after 1.5 months, I can roughly plan, I can roughly project, or I will need this much, so I wouldn't waste any food. Or I know if I cook this much, you know, it can last until this day or something like that. And in terms like how much I order from my suppliers, all this I can control, try to keep the food fresh. And in terms of how much I cook, I can project and plan ahead. If you're talking about like customers who buy for me waste food, normally most of them will finish the food. There will be one or two, you know, because the food is too much, especially that first week, because I was giving out, the portions I was giving out was too much, right? So over the weeks, what I did was to reduce the amount of portion I was giving out. For example, my noodles, the first week I was giving out like 150 grams, so I reduced it to like 110 grams now. So it looks more, I think it is more like 110 grams is just nice for guests to eat. But obviously there are some like big eaters, normally they will ask me for extra noodles. So if they ask, then I will give more, which I normally don't charge. Noodles, all this. Yeah. So these are some of the ways normally I try to like reduce food wastage.
Do you have any words of advice or inspiration to share with the young generation for the future?
Yeah, okay. When I was trying to start this business, there was a lot of people, when I was trying to make the switch from Zouk to here, there was a lot of people who were skeptical. And it's not because, you know, they are bad or what. I think they were just concerned. But I think for the young people nowadays, if you ask me, I would say that you know, sometimes we can always take into consideration what people say, right, and stuff like that. And sometimes we are afraid to, you know, make a change, right, to try something new, to take on a challenge and stuff like that. You know, but there are also a lot of people, you know, who say people never give me a chance, people never give me an opportunity. But I think the most important thing is, like for myself, you know, you need to give yourself a chance. I think you need to start to believe in yourself, because if you don't give yourself a chance, if you don't, you know, believe in yourself, nobody else will believe, right? It's a simple logic. If you, your own self, don't trust yourself, then how can you expect other people to trust yourself, right? If you don't give yourself a chance to do something, how can you expect other people to give you a chance, right? So I think the most important thing is about, you know, you giving yourself a chance, right? Don't be so harsh on yourself. When things go wrong, you know, learn to pat yourself on the back and move on. You know, try again and try again.
Thank you so much for your sharing, for your kind time, and I would like to wish you the best in the future for your business, and for your business to flourish in the future. And may God bless you with more customers in the future as well.
So now I'm craving to have some chicken biryani. Ah, I know where to get my chicken biryani. Now I'm going to be ordering from Biryami. So, do you want to join me too?
Hi, would you like to introduce yourself?
Okay. Hi, I'm Hari. I'm 22 years old. So I just finished my national service about 3 months ago. And before that, I did my diploma in IT in Republic Poly. So after that, and after my NS, my dad started his venture that he always wanted to do for quite some time. So because of COVID, and because he works in the airline industry, so there were not many flights. So this gave him a lot of time to start up something, and he came out with this idea to start Biryami.
So what is biryani and what is your role in biryani?
Okay, so Biryami is actually an Indian restaurant. So what we do is we operate out of the central kitchen. So basically the cooking is done in the kitchen, and we try to make use of the delivery services we have now, like namely Grab, Foodpanda and Deliveroo. And we also have dine-in, but our main source of customers are from these delivery platforms. So basically, my role in Biryami is I deal with all the IT side and basically managing some aspects of the business, like when we come up with a menu, and to have it sent to the other delivery platforms, we have to tabulate them on an Excel sheet. So stuff like this, basically very simple jobs that makes handling the business easier for my dad. So these are the roles I actually am engaged in at the moment in Biryami.
So where did the name biryani come about?
Okay, so the name for Biryami basically came about because it's synonymous with biryani and yummy. So when you put it together, it's biryami. So to figure out how yummy our food is, you gotta try it. So actually Biryami, it started off way back, like I think we are the 4th generation. So it was actually started off by my great grandfather, and I mean the same Indian restaurant, but it operated out of a coffee shop. So what we are doing differently from those previous generations is that we are leveraging on technology, and we are operating out of central kitchen at Tampines. So and we believe Tampines to be an upcoming area because we have a lot of industrial buildings and a lot of construction going on. So we believe that in the future we would be able to get a lot of customers. So we are trying to gain some traction there.
So I've heard that biryani has catered for the Pertapis Children's Home. Would you like to share more about that?
Yeah, sure. So what happened was through a mutual contact, we got information that they would like to engage us to arrange for food for Pertapis Children Home, because I mean it's the festive season, and we want to spread the joy to the kids. So basically this really intrigued my dad mainly, so he wanted to do something for them, and so basically we decided to agree and cater some food for the kids.
I've read an article about you and realized that you have a unique hobby. Would you like to share more about it?
Yeah, sure. Okay, so this unique hobby I have is I actually race karts professionally, and I've done many races over the years. I started in 2012, and since I've competed in many international races. I mean, based in Singapore, but involves a lot of international competitors and all that. But since then, I mean, the racing industry has kind of slowed down a bit, and I was doing a few races here and there, but then COVID came, and the season for this year was basically completely off. And I did a race like I think a month ago. It was just an endurance race, so basically it was just for fun, and then it was good to get the feel back again. So so basically now it's just a hobby. Before it was actually an interest for a possible career, but then the money involved in racing is huge. So basically it would have taken too much out of my parents' pocket, which is not fair to them either because I have siblings. And sponsors are pretty hard to come by in Singapore generally compared to overseas, because there's not much exposure of the motorsports industry. Yeah.
So would you like to have any sponsors? Would you like to reach out to the viewers and ask for any sponsors?
Okay, well for me, maybe I'm past my age, but there are a lot of promising young drivers coming up, and hopefully there'll be a lot of people who are keen to sponsor and hopefully nurture these young talents to basically bring the name of our country up in the world of motorsports. I think that would be pretty cool to see.
I wish Biryami all the success and I wish you the best in your future endeavors.
Thank you.
Hi everyone, right now I'm at Pertapi Students' Home and Inclusivity for All would like to thank the donors for their contributions. The donors are Madam Revadi and family, Madam Fatima B and family, Subayas Biryami and Brinda's North and South Indian cuisine, Mr. Veera.
Hello friends, here's Safura's, come to Safura's kitchen. Here I'm going to cook today tulang merah. It's called bone, red bone, mutton bone. I bought about 3 kilo. Okay, the first thing we need that, oil about 1 tablespoon, 2.5 spoon chili powder, 3 spoon tomato sauce, about 3 spoon soup masala, chopped onion about 1, tomato about 1. Then I'm using the spice. We have cinnamon, star, we have turmeric, we have cardamom, and have 1 chili. We have serai, lemongrass in Malay, serai, lemongrass, with 5 tablespoons of ginger garlic paste, and I got a little bit red coloring. I have brown sugar. Okay, we start the cooking. I pour the oil. Next, I put inside cinnamon, all this thing. Then next, I put the onion. Next, I put my ginger garlic paste inside. The ginger garlic paste inside. The 5 tablespoons. Very good. So next, I'm putting my soup masala. You can buy it in any shop, any brand you all like. But you must use the soup masala. Then only the taste will come. Normally this one is local Singapore food. You go to the hawker center or you go some restaurant also they have. So then you stir it well. Then you put inside the chili powder. Chili powder inside. Stir it. I put the lemongrass inside. And I put the chili. 1 chili I cut it small. If you want more, can also. I don't want to be very spicy. Next, I'm going to put my bone inside. I'm going to stir it. I already boiled the bone. It's about 7 whistles. I use the pressure cooker to boil it well. Now I'm going to put in my chopped tomatoes inside. About 1 tomato. Next I put my tomato sauce. About 3 tablespoons. Next I'm going to put brown sugar. I use brown sugar. It's about 1 tablespoonful. I'm going to use the coloring, red coloring. There you can get it. Okay. See, stir it with the water so the color will come up. So now you can turn the fry pan. That will be your whole. Not very oily because I use very little oil inside the bone. When you boil, you will find the oil also, and if oil more you can throw out. I throw out some oil already. It's very nice to eat with bread. I adding a little bit more the coloring, the red coloring, because this one is called tulang merah. In Malay they say tulang merah. If in English, red bone. Because already boiled, I already cooked the mutton. I cover for a while.
A few moments later.
I'm going to taste inside that. When I boil the bone, I already put the salt inside. I just taste and see whether enough or not. Not enough salt. I'm going to put a little bit more salt inside. I'm going to put a little bit more coloring inside. Okay, it's done. Now I'm going to take it out. I garnishing. Okay, this one will go along with the bread, French roll bread. My tulang merah is done. Thank you to watch Safra's YouTube video. Please, I will come back with another recipe that a while more. Okay, bye till then, bye.
Hi everyone, right now I'm with Mr. Daniel. Mr. Daniel is a freegan, and I would like to ask some questions to you. So the first question I'm going to be asking is, you are a financial planner, and what made you want to be a freegan and a dumpster diver?
Okay. First off, I know that people can't call me a dumpster diver. I just prefer to be called a freegan because dumpster diving is an activity that some freegans do and some freegans don't do. It's something that I do occasionally only now. I used to do it more often, but not so much now. So when people say I'm a dumpster diver, it is true, but it's not something that I'm so actively involved in. As for what made me want to become a freegan, when I was working as a financial planner, I learned a few things. One of those things I learned is that whether you have or you don't have, almost everybody in Singapore is worried about money. If you don't have enough money, you're worried about not having enough money. If you have money, you're worried about also not having enough money, and whether you have enough money to last your whole lifetime. I worked out back then that an average basically a Singaporean would need a minimum of $1,500 a month to retire in Singapore, quite modestly. But then when I started to explore the freegan lifestyle in Singapore, I found somebody who was retired at age 45. He spends $100 a month and he was very happy because he got everything he wanted. And that was like, how can it be possible for somebody to retire for only $100 a month? I was curious. I wanted to know, can I replicate this? The answer is yes, and the answer is no. Yes, in the sense that there are a lot of interesting ways that one can do to reduce your expenses. No, in the sense that different people have different situations, different privileges in life. So some may be able to replicate it, some may even bring it down to $50, $20 a month, and some the lowest you can bring it down is maybe $300 or $500. But that's still a big achievement, a big improvement over $1,500 a month. And so that started my journey. I wanted to see whether I could do the same. And I tried it out for 3 months. It's like, it actually can. I tried it for 6 months. It can. Let me try it long term. I did it for 2 years. It can. So therefore I became a freegan.
In the eyes of your friends and family, what did you think that they were thinking when you became a freegan?
When I became a freegan, I actually took the time to speak to each of my family members and close friends to tell them what I was doing now. About 70% of the people that I spoke to were very supportive of what I did. About 30% were not supportive, were discouraging. And that's okay. That was to be expected. Along the way, as I went along, and I had various media interview me, and I had a chance to tell more of the story, more the motivation behind what I do. I found that again the statistics are quite the same. Like 70% of people are kind of supportive, 20% of people maybe are neutral about it, and 10% or 5% even are fiercely against. It's okay. You don't have to listen to the naysayers lah. When I first started out, I was worried that people might see me as, oh, this person is taking things from the trash. He must be going through a hard time. He must be having problems at work, cannot make money, or maybe they might be thinking that, oh, I got some mental problem or something. That's why normal people don't really go through the trash, right? That's what I initially thought. But then I came to realize that nobody really thinks that much of you. If somebody sees you going through the trash, there's only one or two reasons. Firstly, they don't know what you're doing. They're staring at you because they want to find out what is it you're doing. It's trash. Why would somebody be looking through it? The second reason would be they're waiting for you to go away because they also want to dig through the trash. And I found that I found very interesting that there are a lot of people who actually go through the trash. You can see this guy wearing a suit, wearing a tie. He's waiting for the lift. He's looking through the trash to see what there is. It's quite a common sight when I start to do this more. I start to notice people around me doing this as well. But one thing I can say for sure is that if you want to be happy in life, then you have to stop thinking too much about what other people think of you. Because if you're always captive to what other people think of you, then basically you're not going to be happy because somebody out there will think negatively of you, and don't pay attention to that lah. Just listen to the people who think positively of you. I think that's more important.
What are your personal views of food wastage in Singapore?
I think food wastage in Singapore is not a good thing, because when you look at food, right? Food is produced, it is meant to feed humans firstly, then it's meant to feed animals secondly, and then whatever is not fed to humans and animals can actually go back to the soil to be composted and be turned back. It's all organic matter, it can all be turned back into soil, which is where food comes from in the first place. But in Singapore, we don't do so much of that. We prefer to throw it away, we prefer to burn it, incinerate it, and that's a real waste of resources. In actual fact, we don't need to have any food wastage in Singapore. All food can be used to feed people, animals, and the soil. We don't need to burn any food, but we are burning a lot of food in Singapore. That's not to say that food wastage is all bad news. When we watch the media or we read articles in the media, we always hear a very dismal picture of food wastage. It's very high, etc. It's been growing and all that. But actually, if you look at the statistics from NEA, you'll find that the amount of food waste generated in Singapore peaked in 2017. In 2018, it actually dropped by 6.2%. In 2019, it dropped a further 2.6%. What we're doing in food rescue, what we're doing in collecting food that cannot be sold but can be eaten, it makes a difference. From 2017 until end of last year, we've improved the situation by 66,000 tons. And that's no small amount. It's not any of the groups that I started, SG Food Rescue or the one I'm involved in, Fridge Restock Community. We are only doing a tiny bit. I did some calculations that the group would probably manage to rescue something like 0.01% of the total food wasted. So what accounts for the other 6.19% drop? So I would say that there are a lot of food rescuers in Singapore who in their own little ways, whether they are working in the food company or they are just an average person, going up to the food company and saying, hey, I know you throw away a lot of food that can be eaten but cannot be sold. Can you give it to me instead? I will collect it every day and I'll give it to people who can use it. And maybe only 1 in 10 companies will say yes, but that one company will give a lot of food, so much food that even one person or even 5 or even 10 people cannot finish consuming. They will collect it, they will give it to people who can use it. And there are all these little small groups of food rescuers all over Singapore doing this on a daily basis, working very hard. They have a full-time job and then after work they go and collect this food. It's amazing to see them in action. And these are the people who are really making the difference. There's so many out there, we don't know how many there are, we're not actually counting it, but when we look at the amount of food waste generated in the whole of Singapore, we see a difference. We are making a difference.
Do you think you have achieved the kampung spirit among your neighbors?
Well, I have shifted house since I started this. So in my previous house, I feel that I have achieved a kampung spirit among my immediate neighbors. I was particularly close to 3 immediate neighbors, and we would be sharing things, we would be giving stuff to each other. However, I've also learned that two of my neighbors started quarreling, started a very bad ongoing fight with each other. And when I shared this to my mom who actually lived in a kampong in the past, told me that this is also part of kampong spirit. In kampong spirit, in kampong, people will fight. People don't like each other, they don't like the sight of each other, they will scold vulgarities against each other, and this is part of kampong living as well. So sometimes when we talk about kampong spirit, it's not all positive, there's also negative, but it's all part and parcel of that kampong spirit. I think part of kampong spirit is also there's the bad part and there's the good part where neighbors come together and share stuff that we have too much of, and help each other. Most of the time I was receiving stuff from my neighbors, but I would help out in other ways. For example, when my elderly neighbor needed help to change the batteries in her her water heater, I was able to help her do that. And she would also give me stuff like expired food or fruits that she has too much of, and she would give it to me. I would help her to consume it. And there was I think kampong spirit is really another way of saying, is there a spirit of generosity? Is there a spirit of sharing and helping each other within the neighbors? Now, where I'm currently staying, I'm staying with my parents. I'm not particularly close to my neighbors, but my mom is. In the past, she used to buy food on several times a year to give it to neighbors, to cultivate that kind of neighborliness. Nowadays, when I rescue food, I bring back and she will wash it, pack it, and give it away to the neighbors. And she can achieve what she used to achieve without having to spend as much money as she did in the past. And we also see the neighbors giving and sharing with us things that they have too much of. For example, if we give them some fruits or what, they may bake it into a cake and then they'll share the cake with us. If their mango tree has fruited and there's a lot of mangoes, they will collect it, and they had a good harvest, they'll share with us their excess also. So yes, I would say there is the kampong spirit present in my neighborhood.
What would you like to share with the young and upcoming generations?
Food is precious. Don't waste food. Last year and before, we in Singapore, we were very proud of our food security. We had so many baskets of food, and we knew that in Singapore we will not run out of food. But in 2020, this COVID pandemic struck, and it affected the global supply chains. And for a time, we actually worried, will we actually have enough food in Singapore? At the same time, our food wastage levels remains high. Food that can be eaten, but it's not eaten for one reason or another, because it's not pretty, cannot be sold, whatever, we are still throwing it away. Food is precious. We shouldn't be throwing away food that can be eaten. If we can't eat it, maybe our animals can eat it. If our animals cannot eat it, maybe our soil can consume it. But food should not be wasted. Food requires a lot of resources to produce, to transport to Singapore. And you produce all that food and you transport all the way to Singapore and you throw away 1/3 of it, then so much resources are being wasted. And this is not good for the environment as well. Not just in the incineration process, but also in the production process, the transport process. A lot of carbon emissions are emitted. A lot of carbon dioxide is emitted because of this to supply us with food. And if we throw it away, that's such a waste. The big emergency, the big crisis that young people are going to face during their lifetime is climate change. And climate change is going to cause a lot of problems around the world. We in Singapore are a bit more fortunate in the sense that we are a fairly rich country, which means we can do things with our money that poorer countries cannot. But we will still suffer because of climate change. Climate change may be something so big that we can't really do anything about it. We can't be a Greta Thunberg, and we cannot go and do a school strike, because in Singapore we'll get arrested. But we can do our things. We can do little things to improve the climate, and one of the ways is to reduce food waste. Simple things that you can do. Very simple things. Don't waste the food. If you eat out, you have leftovers, tap out, bring home and eat. Very simple ways. You want to do more? Get involved in food rescue. You can start your own food rescue group where you can talk to the shop and ask them to give you the unsold food every day. If it's too much work, you can be part of a food rescue group. If somebody has already spoken to the shop, arranged it, just need people to come and rescue. Or you can be the person who consumes the food from the food rescue, because they collect too much, they can't finish eating, they have to give away, you can collect from them. Once a week is good enough. Everybody works together to help to reduce food waste, we can achieve so much more. It's much better than having a few big groups doing big things, but you only have a few. It's much better to have many Singaporeans in Singapore, literally millions of Singaporeans doing helping to reduce food waste in our own little way. I think that's much more effective, and that accounts for the great reduction of not a great, but it's a significant reduction in food waste generated in Singapore over the last 2 years.
Thank you for meeting me and sharing all this fruitful information, and also especially the statistics which you shared. Thank you, Mr. Daniel.
You're welcome.
Thanks for watching the show. I hope you have enjoyed it, and don't forget to tune in tomorrow, same time, same place, for more inspiring stories.